everyone, Chelsea here from So Simple Home. Today we're going to make some winter slippers, and they kind of look like this. And then you fold them down, and they're really fun for kids. Super fast, super cute. First you'll need the pattern. There's 2 pattern pieces. You can get them for free on the link in the description. It'll just send you over to the blog, which also includes a tutorial, a photo tutorial along with this video. So I've cut out my main fabric and my lining in both the boot and the sole of the shoe, or the bottom of the shoe. So I'm going to start with my actual slipper here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew the 2 pieces together on this long side and along the curve, but I'm going to leave the bottom open and the top open. And since I am using a fleece, which is a stretchy material, I'm going to use a zigzag stitch. You're welcome to use a straight stitch. It's just not going to work as well for you. So I'm just using a zigzag for both of these pieces here. And I'm just using a quarter of an inch seam allowance. As you can see, you can kind of see how that works. So my foot would go in there. And then I have my base here. And I'm going to take my pattern piece, shows you there's, this one's not labeled, but it is labeled before you cut it that this is where the toes are and this is where the heels are. So we just want to make sure that we attach it correctly. So best thing to do is kind of fold it in half. So this is where the edge of my toe would be. So I'm going to pin that in. And then after I fold it in half, this is my heel back here. So I pin my heel in. And then I would stretch the remainder of the sole of the foot around the rest of my slipper boot. Okay, so you can kind of see how that works there. So now I'm just going to stitch around it, all the way around. I'm going to stitch my lining. I'm going to do it the same way I did my main fleece piece. I'm just going to stitch here and stitch along here, leaving the bottom and the top open, and then I'll put my sole in. For your lining, I'm just using a knit fabric. You can use fleece, that works. You can use, like on this one, we use kind of a faux fur. You can use almost anything as long as it has a little bit of stretch to it, just like the fleece has a little bit of stretch. But I'm just going to go ahead and sew that, and then we will put the 2 pieces together. All right, so I've got my 2 pieces, my lining and my main fabric, and I forgot to mention before, which is kind of important, you do need to leave an opening in the side of your lining fabric, just a 2-3 inches open. If you didn't do that, you can always just unstitch and pick just a little section, and it should be just fine. All right, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're actually going to turn our main slipper right side out, and we're going to put him inside of our other slipper. And we're going to match, excuse me, we're going to match the top edges like this. See that? And we're going to stitch around the top edge. So, stitch around the top. Now we're going to pull our main fabric out and then turn our slipper right side out. Okay, Same with this one down here. Just turning it all. So it kind of looks like this. Looks a little ridiculous. We're going to stitch up this hole. You can hand stitch it if you want. I'm just going to put it on my sewing machine and stitch it closed there. It should stay a little bit better. It's kind of up to you. It's on the inside, so people aren't really going to see it. And it shouldn't bug anybody that wears their slipper too much. Okay, so now I just take this slipper, the lining, and I shove it into the main slipper piece here. Shove the toes together and shove the heel together. Try and get everything to lay as flat as you can. You don't really want to iron fleece, so I just use my finger and try and press those seams. So these thicker seams here, just really use your finger to work them out, and use your finger on the inside to make sure the lining is kind of matching up the way that it should on your slipper. And then there's your first slipper. He's got a few fluffies on him, but I think he's going to survive. And then you just repeat that with a second slipper. So this slipper side, and then you can fold it down. And you'll see these two slippers are a little different. This one I did a knit lining. This one I used kind of that faux fur. And it turned out really cute, and it's really, really soft. It picks up a lot more lint, but it still works. But I just love these cute little slippers. You just put some tiny little feet in there, and you've got a fun little pair of slippers. And this pattern comes in sizes from toddlers all the way up to age, I would say 9 or 10. They come in size 13/1. So that's a little bit of the big boys, but not into the teens and adults. So hopefully you can make yourself or make your kids or some grandkids some fun slippers. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments.